Welcome back, everyone. If you haven't watched part 1, I recommend you do so, as it includes the setup for the entire discussion of this video here. Also, big spoilers from here on out. Let's take a look at La La Land, which follows the stylistic aspects of a classic Hollywood musical. The musicals of the 50s were grand and spectacular, but it was often rather superficial. Many of the musical numbers didn't really further the story. This is not to say they were bad, but they didn't usually serve the narrative, meaning the films were often constructed on very simple stories. La La Land has a greater focus on realism than the musicals of yesteryear. For one thing, Mia and Sebastian don't end up together. Already a subversion on the traditional love story. There's also a clearer division between their aspirations and their reality. When both are achieving the quote-unquote Hollywood dream, the cinematography becomes more cinematic. Mia's Hollywood moments are full of bright colors, but they don't mesh together. It's a shallow visual. Same with Sebastian when he's in his successful band, as the film looks more like a traditional biopic in the vein of Bohemian Rhapsody. When they're together and more relaxed, the film allows the colors to combine into more subtle hues that blend together. La La Land is an homage to the Hollywood musicals of the past, sure, but it portrays the ideas of those musicals as shallow and one-dimensional, both visually and tonally. The filmmaking also expands on what was possible in the 50s musicals. I mentioned the long, drawn-out shots that highlight the choreography in part 1. To give an example, La La Land's opening number is a 3-minute-long shot that, while it includes hidden cuts, also focuses on the choreography and dancing, pushing the boundary of what's been done before in a distinct new way. On the other hand, Knives Out also follows the tone and style of other whodunits, but plays more with the structure of the story. Instead of following the detective as the protagonist, the film follows Marta, one of the suspects. Very early on, we get a flashback scene where the film sets us up to believe that Marta is the killer. This transforms the film from a whodunit into a how's she gonna get away with it, as it were. Marta is a sympathetic character, and we don't want her to get caught. It turns out to be a red herring and she is absolved of blame, but this still plays with our expectations on the genre. According to Rian Johnson, he put in a Hitchcock-style thriller inside a murder mystery. By making us think Marta is the killer, Rian Johnson hooks us. We don't want her to get caught, but we do want to see the case resolved. On a thematic level, Knives Out is also noteworthy due to the social-political aspects of its dialogue. The social commentary it poses on several themes, including immigration and economic privilege, deepens the characters in the story beyond being just suspects in the investigation. It engages the audience on a different level beyond simple curiosity as to who is the culprit. So, as we can see, these films were developed by two directors that have nostalgic feelings to genres that have faded away in modern film, and they've created a send-up that simultaneously honors the past while pushing those genres forward. It's a case of nostalgia being used in service of a theme and plot, versus the plot being used in service of nostalgia. The nostalgic elements are, of course, one of the main reasons that these films attract audiences. But it's not the driving force behind the production. These are films created to celebrate these genres, which then leads to audiences celebrating along with them. Nostalgia is not necessarily a bad thing. If used carefully and in service of the plot and story, it can attract an audience to enjoy something that pushes a genre in a new direction. Nostalgia must inspire and aid a film's purpose, not be the purpose.
Genius.
It's easy to just remake a classic property and bank on the popularity of these specific concepts, but I have a feeling both La La Land and Knives Out will be remembered more fondly than any Hollywood cash grab. So, what's the lesson to take away from this? Well, to me, this means that if you're writing a script, don't be afraid to use nostalgic elements. You can include references or make the film in a genre you admire, so long as all of that is in service of the story you're telling. This goes not only for genres, but for time periods, shots, even whole film concepts. It's just a matter of using these tools correctly. As Thomas Flight recently showed in an excellent video, Wes Anderson used an exact scene from Hitchcock's Torn Curtain in Grand Budapest Hotel. George Lucas from Kurosawa, Tim Burton from Hammer Horror, Tarantino admits to simply stealing from the films that inspired him. The list goes on and on. It's not necessarily wrong to start off with just a genre. That's what both La La Land and Knives Out did. What you have to do is find a story inside that genre that is worth telling. Don't pander to nostalgia, celebrate it.
Yes.
It feels really nostalgic to me. Is
That's
it too
the
nostalgic?
point.
Yeah,
That's-
are people gonna like it?
Fuck 'em.
Use elements you liked in other films. Steal if you want, Tarantino does it all the time. The important thing is you're stealing to service the film, not the audience. Let's make something clear. Film audiences don't know what they want. They don't. They demand originality, then complain when something is new or different. Ignore the audience. Tell a story. Use elements they may like, but be sure it supports the story you're telling. That's how you make a good film. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know this took a while to come out. Things have been pretty crazy around these parts, but hopefully I'll be able to make a new video soon. Many of you have been requesting something on animation, and I'm working on a couple ideas on that. Please let me know your thoughts and recommend stuff for me to review. Do you want to see more stuff on shows, movies, anything? Should I do stuff on more popular topics like Star Wars or Disney, or should I keep it different? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.